What you got next on?
Okay. Well, this also goes out to Lee, I have to say. It's going to be very unexpected for you. This is from 1979. This is Molly Hatchet and Flirting with Disaster.
Oh, he loves a bit of Molly Hatchet.
Well, all right, okay. I mean, you know, I'm not going to. Sorry, go ahead, Ralph. You said you were going to say something?
No, I said I had that on my list as well. It's my favorite Molly Hatchet album.
And yeah, I mean, for me too. I'm not going to pretend that I'm a huge fan. I didn't own all their records, blah blah blah. But I've always loved this track. Always loved it. And this is just kind of the perfect show to do those tracks that you remember from being a kid, and they still sound great now. If that comes on, I'm still into it. It's the chorus for me, because it goes all minor chordy, like everything else is I'm drumming, I'm down the road. But when he goes in that Flirting with Disaster, just the chords they use, just love it. It's great. So let's see, 79, their second album sold 2 million copies, which is still pretty good for a Southern band when you're not Lynyrd Skynyrd. It is their best-selling album, obviously. Billy Joe Brown, the singer, he left after this for 4 years. I think they had their third and fourth record had a different singer. Then he came back for the fifth. Apparently health problems. He was having trouble touring and stuff.
Diabetes, it was.
Diabetes, yeah. Which he eventually died of, I think. But yeah, so that's why he left. I thought maybe it was an ego thing back, when I heard that he left, but no, it didn't have anything to do with that. But yeah, Flirting with Disaster, great Southern song. Might be my favorite Southern rock song, maybe.
Wow. Yeah, and they're actually still touring the whole year, and just right now they are in France to record a new album.
Oh wow! Okay,
there you go.
Cool.
Can't wait to get that. I'm a big Molly Hatchet fan.
Fantastic. I had no idea, so I'm glad I picked it.
I think it's hilarious that I'm the only one that lives in the southern United States who does not like Southern rock.
Yeah, you don't do it. That's right. You don't like Southern rock.
It's not my cup of tea.
Yeah. It either clicks with your mate or it don't. It's weird, isn't it? So there you go. Thanks for that, mate. Brilliant choice. Right, Ralph, what you got, mate?
I'm going back to 1988, and I'm going back to the band that is the poser band of all bands.
Hold on. We've probably all got that opinion. What's your opinion? Who do you think it is, Dom? Poser.
It's Manowar.
Oh, Manowar. Oh.
And the album is Kings of Metal, and
Fantastic.
that song, which I can actually play on guitar, woo!
Wow,
is just still mind blowing. Whenever I hear it, I'm just spread the legs and
I love it. Other bands play.
Manowar kills.
That's right.
And this song goes down so well live. It's just a wall of sound. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm not a Manowar fan. I have to say, I'm not into Manowar really, but there are a couple of songs that I really like "Fighting the World," for example, or Metal, and maybe 3-4 more. But I never really bought a full album of Manowar.
All right.
Fighting the world every single day. Fighting the world for the right to play heavy metal.
Yeah.
Wow.
See?
It's like he's in the room.
I thought I wouldn't wait until the streams are later. I wouldn't be able to do that stuff. But
yeah.
And I always thought that
fantastic choice, Ralph. Love it.
Good, I like that. I actually had one Manowar album. I only had one Manowar album. That was Fighting the World. It was called Fighting the World.
Yeah. Well, if we were not the Iridiots, we would call ourselves the Kings of Metal, right?
Oh, yeah,
love it.
No, that's a good choice. I didn't expect Manowar to come up on the show, but that is absolutely superb. Cheers for that, mate. Okay, Mr. Mark Clower, get your hands in my box.
I just had to say, when he said biggest poser band, I just knew it was going to be a Poison song.
That was the first thing that came to my mind was Poison as well. But then I was thinking they didn't have an album in '88. Oh no, they did. Oh, they did. Anyway, go ahead.
Is Poison a metal band?
All
I
right,
like Poison.
this one's very recent from 2020. Lords of Black, Alchemy of Souls. I know Don.
Lee's favorite singer.
Yeah, Lee's not the biggest Ronnie Romero fan.
The RR.
This song is just fucking epic. It's 10 minutes long. It takes you on more twists and turns than a corn maze. Starts off with about almost.
That's a proper southern. What a southern expression that was. Absolutely superb.
I couldn't think of anything else to twist.
More twists and turns than a corn maze. Yes.
A corn maze at Halloween, no less.
Love it. Yeah, with Michael Myers following you.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, it starts off with almost 2 minutes of this delicate Spanish inspired guitar, which they're Spanish. And then when it kicks in, it just kicks your teeth in with this nasty, heavy, throbbing riff. Then Romero's vocals come in kind of low, and when it really picks up pace, he just roars like a lion. I understand his voice can be a little grating, at times after you listen to it, but this song especially.
Oh, don't you make excuses for Lee.
I'm watching Dom, like, as you're explaining the song, and I can see him smiling because you're getting to where Romero's going to sing, and he's smiling down the bottom. I'm thinking, I know what you're thinking, Dom. I know.
Yeah, there's certain songs he's done that, his voice is a little more grating. I understand. But this song, even Lee would like. I know he won't listen to it. I might send it to him. I know he won't listen to it anyway. It's 10 minutes.
He doesn't have time. He doesn't have time, Mark.
I know he's a busy man. But even Lee would like this song. It is just absolutely epic. Like I said, more twists and turns, kind of like transitions and Master of Puppets. Just goes from soft to heavy, back to soft, and then kicks up heavier again, and just an amazing song.
Can I just say in my defense that Ronnie Romero technically is superb, can sing anything, absolutely superb. It's just his tone I don't like. It's a bit like Rob Halford, isn't it? That you guys he can sing any note, like scream. I don't know about anymore, but it's just something that some vocalists just don't today. You can't click with them.
Ian Gillan for you as well.
Yeah.
No, I don't like Ian Gillan's voice. No, don't like
well, Lee, we all have our weaknesses.
What's that, mate?
Yeah, well, we all have our weaknesses.
Yeah.
We all have our faults. As friends, we just look beyond them and still keep our friendship.
Yeah, we've all got opinions. Just because yours is wrong. No, cheers, mate. Thanks for that. I will, because it's you. I will listen to that song.
I'll send it to you.
Oh, okay. Ooh. You can give up 2 hours of your life for me to come on here. I can give you 10 minutes of that.
There you go. That's right.
Right. Cheers for that, mate. Thank you very much. So I'm going. This band has already been mentioned by one of you. All right. We're up to 1985. What do you reckon? Any guesses? No. Striper. Striper.
Oh.
So we're going Soldiers Under Command now, which is really, you said like Striper found their feet like recently. This is where they found their feet, wasn't it? Back in the 80s as well. So I mean, I don't know if you could say this is their second album, but the first one was like an EP, then it had more songs in it later at a later stage. So do you class Yellow and Black Attack as an album?
I do, especially with the reissue, because it's by the time they added the extra songs, it became a full album. But this was their first full length album, from inception.
Yeah,
and they had they found their way, between Yellow and Black Attack. I think they were kind of still trying to figure out who they were and what they were. And I think Soldiers was their, I think I said it before, I think that's their signature song anyway. And that's where they, you know, if I had to name one song that, you know, told somebody what Striper was, that's probably the one song I would throw out there.
Yeah. I mean, it ain't just, I mean, the guitar work as well, man. I mean, just like, you know, absolutely amazing on this and throughout the album. Just really heavy stuff, really. And yeah, Soldiers Under Command. About to get Striper in there somewhere, and the 80s was a excellent chance to do that. That's my number.
It was real hard for me to pick mine because I had that to choose from. I had, you know, To Hell with the Devil.
Yeah. Definitely.
Against the Law.
Yeah, Murder by I like Against the Law. I know some people don't, but I like that album.
I mean,
I actually do as well, but it just has that reputation.
I mean, that if you say that album and that guitar work on that Against the Law as well was pretty amazing and all. And it just they went, obviously they was Antichrist at that point, weren't they? So
yeah.
Only joking. Anyway, right. No, and then after that, obviously, Strawberry Picking. Wasn't it after that, wasn't it? Against the Law. Went strawberry picking, didn't he, Mike?
It's funny that I got to backtrack just a minute. What you just said, they were Antichrist.
I didn't mean that, by the way. I didn't
well,
mean
no,
that.
When that album first came out, before I ever even heard it, Dave Mustaine was hosting Headbangers Ball. And I don't remember if they were introducing a video or what, but Dave Mustaine said something about the new Striper album being anti-Christian. And I remember, what? You know, this is before, I think this is before it hit the shelves. And I was just dumbfounded by that statement. And then, you know, when it finally came out and it wasn't anti-Christian, they just decided they wanted to get away from the, you know, the religion for an album and do a, you know, just a standard generic rock album without, you know, there are some Christian overtones on it, but it was not an upfront, in your face, you know, Christian kind of album. They just wanted to do a secular album, try to establish themselves as just a, you know, a good metal band without the criticism of the church and the other side as well. I think it was a great album. You know,
that's the thing, is the frustration was there, wasn't it, where they were a Christian band but getting grief from Christians.
Yeah,
it's just like, you know, just ridiculous, isn't it?
They got it from both sides. They couldn't win there for a while.
No. So anyway, then he went strawberry picking, didn't he? After that, for a few years.
Cranberry.
All right, okay, cool. Thanks for that, mate. Thank you very much. Hold on, that was my choice, wasn't it? Sorry. Okay, back to Dom. What you got, mate?
God, Ralph, you don't have any Striper, do you?
I knew.
We're all
I
lying in the sand right now.
Because it will be full of Striper anyway.
It turns into a conversation about Striper every time. Okay, so my next pick is another bona fide rock classic. Can't say, you know, it is another band that I haven't, you know, I don't have every record or anything, but this song you can't deny. It's Hair of the Dog by Nazareth. Now you're messing with the son of a bitch. Yeah, that's right. 1975, their sixth album, title track. It's been covered a few times. Britney Fox did it in 1989 on their second album. Then, of course, Guns N' Roses did it on Spaghetti Incident. I think that was even a single. So a lot of people may have heard that at the time for the first time and think it's a Guns N' Roses song, but it's not. Nazareth, 75. They wanted to name both the song and the album "Son of a Bitch," but the record company wouldn't let them, so they called it "Hair of the Dog," which is fine. Proto AC/DC, I would say. I think AC/DC took quite a few cues from Nazareth, you know, and maybe streamlined it a bit. But I mean, this is definitely, it's got that fucking cowbell that is fantastic. God love the cowbell. Yeah, Nazareth, Hair of the Dog, another bona fide hard rock classic.
Thanks, mate. Thank you very much indeed. Ralph, what you got, mate?
My next one is a hard choice because I had to choose between two albums of the same group. Group is Racer X.
Mm.
You may remember Paul Gilbert on guitar.
Yeah.
And I've chosen Superheroes, which is one of their albums, and the other one would have been Street Lethal, but Superheroes, I think, tops it in my view. And it's one of those things where you have 2-3 good songs and the rest, maybe not so much. But Superheroes is really outstanding, and it's the title of the album. And I just love Paul Gilbert's guitar play on it. And by the way, he just recently published an album of Dio songs where he also plays the lead vocals on guitar. It's very interesting to listen to. Of course, it's not Dio, but he plays all the rhythm sections and then he mimics the vocals on guitar. Very, very interesting to listen to. But Superheroes, Racer X from, I think, when is it? 2001 came out. That's my number 7.
Cheers, mate.
Oh, is it that late? 2001.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they had various albums, but always like 5-6 years in between. So Street Lethal,
right.
for example, was from 1988.
Yeah, see, that's kind of what I'm thinking of then. Yeah. So does this have Scott Travis as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So really thumping and very speedy.
I'll check that out.
Probably better off as well if you're going to do a Dio album is do it on the guitar rather than the vocals. Bit of a risk in it doing it on the vocals, I would say. But no, cheers, mate. Thanks for that, Ralph. Up to Mark. What you got, mate?
All right, this won't be a shock.
Oh yeah.
Black Sabbath, 7th Star, 1986.
This could have been on. I could have had this, man.
Yeah,
Love that track.
There were so many Sabbath great title tracks I could have picked. But,
I know, the God.
Yeah, I figured this was the road less traveled. I'd pick something a little different. I absolutely love this album, and this is my second favorite song on the album.
I know what your other one is.
Yeah, I know you did. This song's always had a bit of a Kashmir kind of vibe to me. That Middle Eastern kind of vibe, which stands to reason because the original demo version of this that was worked up with Jeff Inholt was called Star of India.
Right.
And I have to wonder, Tony's original idea for this album, because it was supposed to be a solo album, he was going to bring in multiple singers. And one of the singers that he wanted to work with was Robert Plant. And I always thought this, if you took Sabbath and Zeppelin, put them together, and it's interesting to think about if Robert Plant had sang on this album, if he had sang this song, what would it sound like? That would be interesting to, I don't know if that was, I don't know if this song was even a germ of an idea when they were talking about working with Plant, but anyway, like I said, it's always had kind of a Kashmir vibe to it to me, and just interesting to think about what it could have been with somebody like Robert Plant. Glenn Hughes, did a masterful job on it, and I really wouldn't want anybody else doing it. Be interesting to think about anyway. But yeah, one of my all-time favorite Sabbath songs.
Yeah, one amazing album from start to finish, as far as I'm concerned. An absolutely brilliant album. Underrated, totally underrated. Thanks for that, mate. Excellent. I'm glad I didn't have to. Well, you spoke about it, so I feel like I didn't miss out there. So that's good. Okay, so I'm going to 1987. This is my favourite album of the year in 1987. It's from Lizzie Borden, and it's Visual Lies.
Yeah.
I just think that, man, the step up as well from Lizzie Borden. I didn't realise, I was looking at, what album this was of his. It's only the 3rd studio album because he had like loads of EPs and stuff coming out. didn't realise it was only the third, but the step up from quality for me from was it Menace to Society before that? I think was the album before that, which was brilliant by the way. But vocally, especially, he just like sounded amazing on this album. Almost like a cross between Jeff Tate and Bruce Dickinson. That sort of just high-end vocals, just sounded amazing. Don't know about the old silver face on the cover. I'm not really sure about that. It went it was a bit weird, but still absolutely fantastic production as well. One of my favourite albums from the 80s, and my best album from 87. So there you go, Lizzie Borden, Visualize.
I love that one too.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. Okay, Dom, what you got, mate?
I just recently watched last weekend. I watched that Lizzie Borden fairly recent live video. I think you talked about it, Lee, where he's got all the different masks and shit. And
Brilliant,
man, wild, yeah. And his voice is still great.
Yeah.
I don't know how old he is, but he's running around and singing through these intricate masks, and he's still hitting the notes. And wow, it's pretty amazing. So
proper freaky, you know, some of those.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's one where there's a face, but then there's two faces on the face. Good for him for you know, making an effort.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
Okay.
So once again, another 70s band that I just absolutely loved. That we're just on the cusp. They had a couple of hit singles, but nothing, you know, no number ones or anything. This is the Babies, which people would know. John Waite was the singer. This is Head First from 1983. Oh, sorry, 1978. What a song, Head First. Oh my God. Fantastic. So it's their third album. Doing some research, I found out that Jimmy Bain was the first bass player in the Babies.
Oh, wow.
He was only in them for a year, and he didn't lay down any tracks on the first album, but he was with them for about a year. So that would have been like 75, something like that. So yeah, Jimmy Bain was their first guitar player. And then following this album, keyboard player got fired. And then they were touring with Journey, supporting Journey. No, sorry. I got that wrong. So they got Jonathan Cain in after the keyboard player left. Then they toured with Journey, and that's how they met Jonathan Cain, and that's how he came to be in Journey. After the Babies broke up, he hopped onto the Journey train. So if the Babies never broke up, who knows? He might never have gone into Journey. Yeah. But yeah, Head First, really underrated band as far as I'm concerned. They have 5 albums total from 75 to 80, I think. But this track, Head First, is just fantastic. So there you go.
Very cool. Thanks, mate. I think you've mentioned the Babies on some of your, maybe All Killers or something.
I may have a very early episode because they broke up in 80, so it would have been maybe like the first episode.
Very cool. Cheers, mate. Thanks for that. Ralph, what you got, mate?
All right. We already had our doses of Christian metal with Striper and with Petra. I'm going to add Saint to the mix. And I just recently discovered them. They were never so much on my mind so far through their newest album. And it's called Heaven Fell. And just that title song, that was my initiation, so to say, into Saint. I find this an amazing song, the way, the heaviness, how it's built up, how it gets into the chorus and the chorus itself. Yeah, it's just a one beauty of a song. And then I went backwards to look at their discography and discovered a couple of other good albums and songs. So Saint is one of the newest additions in my rubric of Christian metal bands, and Heaven Fell is just a monster album and a super title song.
That is a great album, man. Brilliant album, really heavy. Do you like a bit of them, Mark?
Yeah, I listened to them back in the day. The Times In album, I think, is the one that people kind of recognize. Back then they kind of had reputation of sounding like the Christian Judas Priest.
Mhm.
You know, I can hear similarities, but I never thought they were a direct knockoff. I have not bought the new album, but it's on my list of things to get because I heard Lee's, or I watched Lee's reaction to it, and I agree with what Ralph said. It's just a whole lot heavier than I expected it to be, and to me, it sounded better than the original stuff from back in the '80s.
Great album, great band, great song. Thanks, Ralph. Mark, what you got, mate? Getting there, mate.
We're getting down toward the bottom of the barrel here now. All right, this one might be kind of unknown. I don't know. Widowmaker, Stand By for Pain from 1994. This was Dee Snider's.
Dee Snider singing vocals?
Yeah. After Twisted Sister folded, he briefly had a project called Desperado with Clive Burr from Iron Maiden and Bernie Tormé on guitar. And they tried to get it going when traditional 80s metal was on the way out. And it kind of fell flat. And then he formed Widowmaker, which had Al Pitrelli on guitar and really heavy stuff. The first Widowmaker album was, I'd say, heavier than Twisted Sister, but not as heavy as this one. This album's just early 90s, got a tinge of industrial sound, but not too much. Just a brutal album. I saw them at a small club here in town. Still got my shirt from 1994.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a little story to go along with that. We got to the venue, like I said, a little small club, kind of a rectangular shaped building, and we were walking from the parking lot to the venue, and all of a sudden this van comes hauling ass through the parking lot, damn near ran us over. And we were like, "Hey man, we're walking here," and we turn around and the van gets to the back of the building, the door open, Dee Snider gets out. Me and my buddy were like, "Oh, cool, we just about got mowed down by Dee Snider." But yeah, that was a heavy album. Really good show that night. Unfortunately, they only did the 2 albums, but like I said, definitely the heaviest thing he had done up to that point. Some of the recent stuff he's done with Jamie Jasper's pretty heavy, but Stand By for Pain, like I said, very heavy early 90s album.
Superb. Cool. Thank you very much. Okay, we're up to 1987 still. So when music was getting a little bit, our type of music was getting a little bit, when the late 80s, a bit softer, I suppose. Then we got some American metal come along in the form of Sabotage. So Hall of the Mountain King is my next choice. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, one of the best things about this track is those almost evil shrieks of John Oliver's.
I love them.
I don't think there's any singer like him, is there, that sounds like that? He's just superb. I think he just brought like a dark. I mean, this song itself and Sabotage at that time were really heavy and dark and almost doomy as well. Bit proggy, a little bit, I'd say, as well. Probably the peak of Sabotage, I would say, Hall of Mountain King. Just absolutely superb. 4th album it was, and probably my favorite album. Yeah, probably my favorite, along with the next album. I love Gutter Ballet as well. I just thought it was superb. Those 2 albums, they almost come. There's a bit like the Holy Diver and the Last in Line.
Yeah,
Hall of the Mountain King and Gutter Ballet are very together for me. But that's it, guys. Sabotage and Hall of the Mountain King. There you go.
Excellent.
All right.
Okay, so this is another band similar to the Babies that probably less successful than the Babies, but turned out to be more influential. This is a band called Stars, with a Z at the end. They were on Capitol Records. They had 4 albums. They were managed by Bill Aucoin. who discovered Kiss and made them superstars. This is the title track, obviously, Violation, it's called, 1977, from their second album. They're just one of those bands that you always read about, you always saw posters. They had one top 40 hit from this album, actually. But it just never happened for them, you know. But you just hear them name checked all the time. I know Nikki Sixx is a huge fan. I know other artists from that genre have rated them and spoke about them in interviews and stuff, of that next, like, Sunset Strip bands. All love Stars, because they didn't Stars broke up in '79, so they were just right before Motley and Rat and all those bands were kind of coming up. So these are probably the records that they were listening to on their way up. So they were out of print for a long time, and then all 4 records were reissued on CD by Metal Blade. So they're not as heavy as any other Metal Blade. I would say they're not too dissimilar to Cheap Trick, maybe. Just kind of like, rocking, but very melodic and almost with a pop metal, if you want, proto pop metal. Produced by Jack Douglas, who did all the classic Aerosmith albums and stuff. Just a really underrated band. Great song. Violation is great. And Stars with a Z. Have any of you heard of them?
No, never have.
No. Interesting. Well, do a bit of research. You'll see that they really had a lot of followers, and they influenced a lot of people. So there you go.
Very cool. Cheers, mate. See, we learn something every day on here, don't we? That's why you need to come on here to teach me about stuff I haven't heard. But it's true, though, isn't it? I mean, you just think that you cover most things and heard of most bands, but there's so much out there from the past and now. It's just amazing. Thanks for that, Don. Cheers, mate.
Sure.
Ralph, what you got, mate?
Well, my next one is a very usual suspect, and if I mention a couple of album names, you know exactly who I'm talking about. Wheels of Steel, Power and the Glory.
Oh, yeah.
Lord, Metalhead, Denim and Leather.
Any great title tracks, man.
Yeah,
Again.
yeah, exactly.
That would be a Saxon title track show alone, but I've actually chosen for Solid Ball of Rock.
Very good.
Yes, simply because that was the year when my wife and I met and we rocked together to Solid Ball of Rock.
Oh.
Oh, where's Bam? I want to cuddling. Where is he? Bam, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
No,
I'm not going for Solid Balls of Rock, but but that is actually one of the albums that I always have in my mind when I talk about when I think about Saxon, just simply because of the fact that my wife and I met when that album came out.
All right. Very nice.
Very
Like,
nice.
good record,
Yeah.
too.
Yes. Right. We're spoken about Ralph's Solid Balls of Rock enough. What you got there, Mark? Thanks for that, Ralph.
All right, I've only got 2 left here.
What do you have? 20 titles in that?
What, in my box?
Yeah.
Nah, just the 10.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, I thought you were picking from a bigger.
Oh, mate. Oh, this was if I weren't doing the 80s, this would have been on mine and all.
Iced Earth, Plagues of Babylon from 2014. You cannot listen to this song in the car and drive the speed limit. I challenge you. Just so freaking heavy. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just fucking heavy.
It's probably one of the best intros to a song that I've ever
Yeah,
heard.
the build up. It starts off with this slow build up, and then it comes in with this pounding. I guess it's drums. I don't know. And it just, when I've got it in the car, which is a lot, I crank it all the way up. When that pounding starts, it shakes the entire vehicle. And then when the the guitars kick in. Like I said, your foot just naturally goes to the floorboard there, and
there's one of the songs.
To me, it's one of the heaviest Ice Earth songs.
It is. It is one superb song, one that makes me sad as well.
Yeah.
But it is brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Really, I mean, we're talking very slow paced, slow to medium paced.
The build up is very slow. And when it gets going, it gets cranking. But
yeah, it does. It's just brilliant. Absolutely superb.
Amazing.
One of the first
Why
songs.
does it make you sad? Just because there won't be any more Ice Earth?
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
there won't be any more. But that rhythm, like all Ice Earth, that rhythm guitar, John Schaefer's rhythm guitar drives that song. He's my all-time favorite rhythm guitar player. And those songs would just be nothing without his rhythm.
I totally agreed. Totally agreed. That's why he was so good at throwing those gas canisters and whatever he threw.
I don't think that's been proven now. I don't think that was proven.
No, I totally agree with you. We both, I don't know if it was before, not that it matters, before all that went on, we both chose him as our, not knowingly, who we want in a band. He's playing, he's just amazing. Superb choice, mate. Thanks for that. Okay, so my number 2, if you like, because we're on the last one after this, is, I'll speak about this band probably too much, but we're going back to the 80s, so we're up to 1988. Can you guess what it is yet? So 1988. Yeah, you got it, Dom. So the Operation Not Mindcrime, Queensryche, one of the best albums, period. Probably my favourite concept album ever. Well, I don't listen to concept albums all the time, but just known as one of the best metal albums ever. It's just superb. Just caught your imagination back then as well, didn't it? From the whole concept of the whole thing, really dragged you in. Jeff Tate probably in his peak of songwriting ability and ideas, because I think he was like the main idea behind the whole thing, wasn't he? And most of the songwriting on this album. And then he turned into a twat. But before that, he wrote Operation Mindcrime. So absolutely superb. Only unbelievably, in all the third album, and then they wrote this.
Wow. Yeah, that is wild to think about. Yeah,
it is, isn't it? Because it's like, obviously they had the EP. The Warning was just like getting the ground going, but mind you, Rage for Order, second album, just amazing stuff. But Operation Mindcrime, everyone knows it, don't they? Who's a metal fan? That's my number 2. And we're on to the last track.
Cutting edge metal, I'll call that cutting edge metal.
It's weird, isn't it? Because musically, I think that Rage for Order was almost advanced.
That's what I mean.
Advanced.
Well, yeah.
It was more advanced than Operation Mindcrime. Yeah, they're both. They're just both amazing albums. Anyway, there you go. Rage for Order is my favorite, by the way.
Sorry?
Rage for Order is my favorite Queensryche album, unless you know.
Oh yes. Yeah. Just to make sure that your public doesn't think that Mindcrime is your favorite.
Yeah, exactly. Right. What's your last one then, Dom? I'm excited.
Okay, I saved the best for last. Never in your wildest dreams would you imagine that this would be spoken of on your channel. But you're just gonna have to bear with me, because it does have relevance.
Well, we haven't got Darren here, have we? So you've got to do something that's a bit out there.
Yeah. Okay, so it's 1972. I was 6 years old. This was the heaviest song I had heard up until that point. And I truly think that it started me on my trajectory towards love of hard rock and heavy metal. This is Crazy Horses by the Osmonds.
Yes, what a great song.
This song is fantastic. It still blows my mind. It is so, with the weird, I mean, it's noisy and it's wild, and you just never would have thought that it would come out of those 5 brothers who at the time had only done one Bad Apple and whatever else. Insane stuff. So yeah, it's their fourth album. But let me quote you from Wikipedia. Cited as particularly significant in the evolution of heavy metal, author and journalist Chuck, what's his name? Author and journalist Chuck Eddy ranked Crazy Horses as number 66 in his book of the 500 best heavy metal albums in the universe. So there you go.
Listen, I'm a bit intrigued though. Have you heard the album?
No, I've never heard the album.
I can't imagine it's all like that song.
Yeah. Well, Chuck Eddy thinks it belongs in the top 500 albums of heavy metal albums of all time.
Wow.
Yeah, I love the song. Numerous metal bands have covered it. I think the Poodles have covered it. I think some other European bands have. I've heard numerous covers of it. And album went to number 2 in the UK. Oh no, the song went to number 2 in the UK. Excuse me. So this almost went to number 1. But yeah, just a great thing, and the heaviest thing I heard at that point in my life. So
it's amazing. It's an amazing song. I love the song.
There we go.
Absolutely.
The Osmonds. The Osmonds
Thank you,
on
mate.
Iridium.
And thank you for your 1970s title track list. It was amazing. Thanks, mate. Thanks for doing that. Ralph, what's your last pick, mate?
Okay, my last one. I'm actually making up time and recommend title track of an album, which is also a concept album, and that just came out yesterday. And it's Fifth Angel, When Angels Kill.
Wow.
And I was listening to the whole album yesterday morning, and I also texted Lee about it. Wow, what an album. It is a concept album. It's talking about an angel that starts to kill and how to actually oppose that and kill the angel, so to say. And 70 minutes, 15 songs, 6-minute songs with spoken intros and so on. It's just an amazing album, and it brings back a lot of the, like I said, the Warrior Malice sort of riffing very much, and it's really evolved from earlier Fifth Angel albums. They had like 3 or 4 albums before, and this is the first one that I hear from the beginning to the end in one go. It's just amazing. But When Angels Kill is the title track of the album, and it's just one great recommendation to everybody who listens.
Cool. It is a brilliant album. I listened to it when Ralph, I had to do a bit of traveling for work yesterday. I didn't know I was going to do it. And as soon as Ralph said that to me, I put it on in the van. I was going to do some from start to finish. It was absolutely amazing. I think you'd all like it, but I think Mark, that would blow your mind, this album. It really would.
He emailed me about it yesterday too. And I listened to some of it last night. Yeah, they're really good stuff.
It is really good. Proper metal. Proper metal, that is. Proper metal.
Metal.
Yeah, metal. Ralph, brilliant list, mate. Some excellent memories coming out of there. Lovely hearing about your balls of rock as well. They're solid. Absolutely superb. Thank you very much, Ralph. Mark, well, you must know what's in the box. So
yeah, no point in digging for the last one, but Lee just picked Operation Mindcrime. I'm going to Queen's Rock as well, but I'm going to go a little more controversial. Promised Land.
Wow.
I know not everybody loves this album. A lot of people think After Empire, everything they did after Empire just totally sucked. I would say after this album, pretty much everything from after this to when Todd came along was very subpar. But I love this album, love this title track. I think it's the most epic Queensryche song, or one of, if not the most epic. It's only, I think the song's 6 minutes, but it seems so much longer because it is so epic. Just very plotting, but deep, very, I don't even know how to describe it. Got a lot of atmosphere, very atmospheric song. anyway, I love this album. I saw them on that tour, and it was really well done. It was almost like a, not that I'm a Broadway fan, but they brought in a lot of theatrics on that tour, and
That was the first time I saw them, was that tour. Yeah.
yeah, it was almost being like a Broadway show. It was so well produced, and unfortunately, well, I was going to say Chris DeGarmo lasted one more album after this. I think they lost a lot when he left, but anyway, I still rank this album very high, and that song is in my top 5 Queensryche songs.
Cool.
Cool. And correct me if I'm wrong, that's the only song we've mentioned with a saxophone in it today, maybe. Got saxophone in there, isn't it? In that song?
Yeah, I believe there is. Yeah. I'm pretty sure you're right. Yeah.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for the brilliant list, and obviously the way you pulled it out of the box there was really cool as usual. So I did say that all my list the only song would be a recent song.
Yeah.
So from last year, this is. It's actually from a bloke called, I've never heard of this person, Eddie Munson. You heard of him before?
Mm-mm.
So this song is Master of Puppets from, you heard of Master of Puppets before? Stranger Things, this was on. This was on Stranger Things, unless you've ever heard of this song before. No, you don't get the joke. Anyway,
I mean, I get it, but
I'm sort of taking the piss a little bit here. Some people probably the first time they heard it was last year, haven't they? But 1986, of course, Master of Puppets. Yeah, I went a bit. I was playing with my sort of. I got a bit weird trying to get this list together and thinking I would leave this till last, and thinking no, it should be in the middle because it's 1986, the best year in metal as well, by the way. 1986. But I mean, Metallica, I'm going to have a go at Metallica a little bit now. I don't really want to, but I'm going to have a little bit of a go at them. So, as far as, I know they're trying their hardest, but they will never, ever, ever capture anything like Master of Puppets or Ride the Lightning, in my opinion. Master of Puppets, especially. Just an amazing album from start to finish. I've speak to Ralph about, trying to keep up with music these days. I speak to him quite a bit about what I've got to leave behind because I can't keep up, even with this year's. And I've recently, in fact, today, deleted the Master of Puppets from my playlist for this year. Sorry, not Master of Puppets, the new album, 72 Seasons from this year, because they're just not interesting anymore, are they? Really? Do you agree?
Listen, I'm not going to. I'm not going to answer this conversation. I think I've made my feelings about Metallica quite clear in the last.
I've really tried, with their new album, and it's just they don't seem to go anywhere anymore. But this just proves to you, how epic a band can write a song. Master of Puppets, from the second it opens, from the last, I think it's about a 7-minute something long song. It's just so interesting and exciting. And that's how you write a song. Just a perfect song, Master of Puppets, on the perfect album as well. Really ahead of its time at the time. I think 1986, I would say. That was just like a, whoa, what is this, Just amazing stuff. But I thought, because I think they're struggling musically, in my opinion now, I just thought I would just bring it back and just say that's probably, I don't know if it's my number one song on this top 10 because they're all amazing, but stood its ground with all of those songs. Just Metallica at their best, without a doubt. Brutal.
Well, just think about it. They were truly groundbreaking back then. They're never going to do anything groundbreaking again. Not to say that they're following the trends, but they can try their best to recapture that magic, but it'll never happen again. I mean, that time is gone, and music has evolved so much. They're never going to do anything that's truly original again.
I can't, with the new album, I don't know, we're going on a different subject here. The thing is, you can hear it, and it sounds okay, but I know they're almost like Iron Maiden now. They're so stubborn.
Yeah.
that they go, right, we know we can actually do better. We know Lars can actually do a drum roll, but he's not going to do it. He's actually just going to do this all the way through because he's so stubborn. And Lars Ulrich is probably one of these, when people have a go at him and say, he probably thinks, "Oh, fuck you, I'm going to keep doing it like, because I fucking want to do that only. That's all I want to do." And they could do so. I still think their songs are okay, but they could just edit them a bit, and Lars could do a bit more, and I think they could just be a bit better. It's weird because it's, I don't know.
I think what I see with Metallica since the Black Album, which was the last album which I bought in vinyl and really had it, and then all the digital stuff came in and already started earlier. But since then, all Metallica albums, they have this 1, 2, 3 songs that I really like Atlas Rise, for example, from Hardwired. My absolute favorite is in my top 10 list of Metallica songs. There are a couple as well on the new album that I like quite a lot, but there's others that sort of like fall away over time. I still have like 3 or 4 songs that I really like. But what I hear from a lot of people that now also go to their concerts, they have this stadium tour going on where they play it for 2 nights, and they have this sort of ring sort of stage, which is huge in the middle of the stadium. And whenever what I hear from people, the sound is awful. And they never really play together like a band. You have these 4 people standing on different parts of that huge stage, looking towards the audience, and you never have the whole band together really on the stage. You just accidentally find people walking around on that stage, which used to play guitar or bass.
Yeah,
and it's set. So
I suppose it sums it. I know it's a different time, and Mark, you're totally right, but I suppose it sums it up when I actually listened to that album this year and I liked it at first, and it literally falls away within like a few weeks. It's gone again. And I could listen to Master of Puppets like I listened to it in 1986, and it still be as exciting. Just weird, strange. That's songwriting for you, isn't it? That's the most important thing. No matter how good a musician you are, the songwriting is what matters. That is what matters at the end of the day. Guys, I've gone on my rant about Metallica. So, it's one of those things, isn't it? But guys, thank you very much. So we're going to save our honourable mentions for next time. We might split this into 2 shows just to make it a little bit more, streamlined for everyone watching it. But I'm up for another title track show because there's so much to talk about. But love it. I love the different elements we have and the different themes as well. Absolutely superb. Loved it. So thank you very much, guys. Anything to say before we go?
No, this was was this all Mark's idea? Was it?
Yes.
Yeah. Mark is the man when it comes to themes for the
Dom, I originally thought of it as an all killer. I was just going to suggest to him that y'all do it since y'all are running every years. And I tried to go through and make an all killer 1 to 12, and I got everything except the number 8 and the number 12. I could not find the number 8 to save my life, or number 12. So
wow, that would be a challenge. I'm sort of glad that didn't come to fruition.
So am I. Yeah.
Because I would have to take like a couple of days off work.
All killer, so, 1 to 4. 1 to 4 would have been all right. That would have been about it. But thank you very much. Yeah, cheers for the idea, Mark. And we've got loads of, like I said, we want to get together a bit more often and do some more. So a different stuff.
Correct.
All right, guys. Thank you very much indeed. Anyone could put their favourite title tracks underneath the video.
Oh yeah, love it. Love the comments. Yep.
Yeah. And by the way, I didn't think Master of Puppets came out in last year. All right, I knew it was 86. Or anyone corrects me. Thank you very much indeed. Cheers for watching, guys. See you soon.